and one of my favorite people to talk to. That's why I like the IBYE competition, is I get a chance to chat with this incredibly interesting character. Philip, how's it going?
Greg, good to see you again. How are you
Great
getting on?
stuff. So, Philip, what isn't Philip doing? Let's try not to have the same conversation, which is hugely exciting, that we had last year. But
It's roasting, isn't it?
it is. It's incredibly warm. There you go. It's all these people staring at you and clapping and stuff, you know. But the reality is, Philip is cleaning up the world and banishing it of bad tortillas, quite frankly. Never again should we ever need to go into a shop and buy Doritos or anything like that, because we have a factory with some of the best tortillas being grown right here, right now in Tipperary. Isn't that right?
That's right, Greg.
So tell us about the business for the guys out there that don't know about it. And I love it. It's a bit like me deciding I'm going to produce champagne in Dublin. You're producing tortillas in Tipperary. So tell us about the business.
Yeah. So essentially, we make really, really good corn tortillas, tortilla chips. They're all natural, authentic, naturally gluten-free, and just bloody deadly. So it's a short and long story. I'll give the short version of it, but it's essentially I wanted to set up a taqueria about 5 years ago, and in a taqueria you serve tacos, and one of the key ingredients in a taco is the tortilla, and I simply couldn't get quality corn tortillas anywhere in Europe. So I quickly decided that rather than building a business off a foundation of sand, being a terrible cardboard-like substance, that I had set up a burrito bar. We went on to win the Taste of Mexico last year, having come runner-up the previous year. So we don't do too half bad. But after about maybe 2 years of running the restaurant, I came back to the initial problem we had of not being able to find corn tortillas and whatnot. And I jumped on a plane. I went to Mexico. I hung out with Diego and the lads on the farms, learning how to...
Had to be Diego.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Learning how they basically grew, harvested, identified really top quality corn. And then I went to the Molinos, where I learned how they turned the corn, cooked the corn using a process called nixtamalization, which is corn, water, and lime, into a corn dough. After cooking it, they use these volcanic stone grinders. I learned how to hand carve. Serious crack. But anyway, went from there to the tortillerias, where we turned the corn dough into tortillas and tortilla chips. And then went the whole way through to like hang out with these girls who were basically making tacos at the side of the street. So you learn the whole process from seeding the ground to taco flipping. So it wasn't the worst of research trips. Now it's good crack, to be honest.
Maybe not, but serious dedication. I mean, a lot of people watch a couple of YouTube videos and think they're done, but that's serious dedication to go all the way there and to actually invest the time and the effort to really get it right.
It's a lot more than that, though, because it's not as much work when you're enjoying it.
Sure.
So, like, if you're eating tacos, having a few beers,
sure,
you know, hanging out in a farm, learning how a process works, it's
be
be very different.
The beers, okay, this sounds better.
A few beers, a few quarter ones. Yeah. So it's a very different process. It's not, you know, if you're, I couldn't set up an IT company because I'd go mental. I like having something sit in my hand that I can smell, taste, enjoy. I like to have something tangible. And anything based around, you know, learning it and going off and like I have this thing at the moment. I might do someday. Obsession about, you know, how you actually make shoes or the evolution of like the shoe. So the idea of going off to Luigi, for example, in Italy, and learning how the whole process works from basically cobble to leather or whatever, I think it'd be very enjoyable. So it's not as such you're setting up. It's not such a setting up business. The business should be the result of doing something really good. And obviously there's all sorts of things that come into that. But if the business is built out of something that you're inherently interested in and you feel an enthusiasm or a passion for, you're going to make sure it's bloody good, and you're never going to say give an inch regarding the quality and whatnot. So
did the trip, so when you go to Mexico and you do all this research and you find out how to make the perfect tortilla, did that even fuel the passion further than ever before, or was it there before you hopped on the plane? Do you think you're even more passionate after doing that?
Oh, absolutely, because as well as that, like you discovered a lot of things when I was over there. Like it's like Mexico is a country of incredible history. The food is like saying Mexican food is like saying European food. Like, you know, the French don't eat bangers and mash as such. You know, it's incredibly diverse, and every stone you flip has a story behind it. Like this word of like terroir, the French use, basically relates to the food coming from the area, and like this is something as old as the day in Mexico. In that, you know, like we're doing these really cool marketing pieces at the moment, which involve us basically telling the story of a particular recipe. And it says like how this guy invented the recipe, and these are the ingredients they use, and they use these ingredients because this is the mountain, and this is the mountain, this is where the herbs grow, and the herbs grow this way because of this terrain, and this is the lamb, for example, or the sheep, and they're this way built because of this terrain. So it's all you've got this really incredible history and food culture, and they're incredibly passionate about their food, and it's phenomenal. So that kind of emboldens you to. Fills you with enthusiasm. So we came back from the wander around Mexico and launched the crowdfunding campaign, which I think I mentioned.
Okay,
last
yeah,
time.
you did, yeah. So tell us about that.
So the crowdfunding, it was and still is Ireland's most successful ever crowdfunding campaign. And essentially, we communicated to people what the idea was, where it came from, how we were going to produce the product, and we raised double what we were looking for, which was great. But not only that, we have this base of people now who, the investors, who are not just, you know, in it for the skin or for the return. They're incredibly passionate about the product. They're incredibly helpful. They're supporting us to no end, if I can speak.
You've done a lot of talking today, yeah. Mate, so it's all right.
So no, it's been incredible.
So it's amazing. So you went back, you did the massively successful crowdfunding campaign, and then it was action time. So you've now gone to the stage where literally you're walking around with boxes of the most beautiful tortillas in Dublin, taunting us all with them. Difficult to find, I might add. But the reality is, so tell us about how you set up the factory and the production, and now how you're going out marketing the product, because this is now an established tortilla factory that we have.
It is. Unfortunately, we're not in retail or supermarkets yet, because it's to get from food service to retail just requires oodles of cash. So what we're doing right now is we're selling to restaurants in Ireland, the UK, Germany, Luxembourg. And we're expanding that side of the business, and then hopefully next year, by the end of next year, we'll be selling into retail as well, or supermarkets as well. So that'll explain why they're gold dust. But people can order the product online for delivery to their house in Ireland, but it's not available outside of Ireland.
Because it was last year, I remember you saying to me last year, you said that, you know, because you have your burrito bars, which are great, by the way, so the little ass burrito bars in Dublin, fantastic. But you said, listen, my goal is to ensure that our tortilla chips are in every Mexican burrito bar in Ireland and beyond, and quite frankly, any restaurant that actually wants to serve quality tortillas.
Yeah, because it's a bloody shame, you know, that because people think of a taco at the moment. Most Irish people probably think of this luminous yellow yolk that isn't
goes black in the microwave, and
probably. So it's a shame for a country and food culture to be represented by these god awful yolks. That's not really the true representation of the food. So. As much for ourselves to see the business grow, it would be great for the food to be appreciated the way it should be. I guess I could say that.
Cool. I love your passion. I really, really do. As regards, so say any entrepreneur out there that maybe thinks, you know, as I said, who would have thought tortilla chips manufactured in Tipperary? Certainly not me. So, you know, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur out there that's maybe got, excuse not meant in a rude way, that's got a wild, crazy Probably bonkers idea, like a lot of people probably thought you had at one stage. No, I'm a biggest fan of it, but I'm sure a lot of people thought that's bonkers, that idea is, and look where you are now. Yeah. So what advice would you give to an entrepreneur that's got, I suppose, an idea that they're passionate about, but maybe isn't the safe IT app that everyone wants to invest in?
Well, what I'd say, and I don't want to be regurgitating the words of the two lads before me. They were very, very well spoken about what you should and shouldn't do. I think it's very dangerous for someone to set up a company purely for financial gain, because it will kill them. It will. If it doesn't, they're lucky. I think it's very important that they're vested in the company emotionally, or have an enthusiasm for it. And then once they have a product that they're going to be happy to produce, or a concept they're happy to run with, and they can put themselves behind it, and they can look someone straight in the eye and sell it to them, then it's incredibly important to get people around you that are like-minded in that regard and want to help in the building of the business. That's really it. Like, because the thing is, once you have the product, once you have a group of people around you who are experienced, that talented behind it, the finance would follow, assuming because that's a simple equation. That's how these things. It's purely. It's not rocket science. Funding the business. And there's people out there who are specialists that can advise on that. And then with regard to the marketing, if you're leading with a story and you have passion for the product, the marketing does itself. Now you just need to ingrain that in the company culture, so that everyone who comes into the company, exudes it as well, and it's not just something that sits at the top of the company.
Yeah, and I like the fact you're saying more than just the money. And I mean, at the end of the day, people do business with people, and if I'm going to give money and invest it in your business, I need you to be unbelievably passionate and dedicated with what you're doing.
Well, absolutely. Like, it's obviously we have respect for the money that goes into the company, an extraordinary respect for our investors. Really, really incredible guys, and we hope to give them really great returns, and I expect we will. But I think people very often forget, what actually makes them happy.
Yeah,
they do.
Of course, yeah.
People have this assumption that if they buy the new model of whatever it is, that will do it, when in reality it's not. And I think the sooner any individual understands that and figures out what their motivations are, they'll be the happier for it. And I know I get great buzz out of bouncing around Europe like a Mexican Santa Claus, dispatching tortillas and having a bit of guac and ship with a few beers. So and we're creating something really, really cool at the same time.
That's just the perfect definition for you, the Mexican Santa Claus. I mean, I think we could just cut everything now. It's the Mexican Santa Claus, simple as that. The IBYE experience this year, how you found it this year has been good.
Yeah, well, I love just having the chats is good fun,
Chats, building the network, like-minded minds.
Yeah, we'll go for a few drinks now on the 6th afterwards.
Yeah, the big final.
Yeah. Should come along. Bring some guacamole and
trust me, I'll be there with my sombrero.
Fair play.
Simple as that. I don't know whether I'll be waving a tip flag. I've got to draw the line somewhere, but I'll certainly be there.
I'll give you a jersey for the day. You can throw it on.
There you go. Bring it along. I'll wear it. Simple as that.
So actually, I'd say before we finish, because we are currently raising a round of finance.
Okay.
So we are looking for investors. So if there's anybody with a few extra quid and wants to join the company in any manner, we'd love to chat to you.
Cool. So say there is someone out there. Who would they contact? How should we do that?
How do they contact? They can contact me, Phil at blanco-nino.com or blanconino.ie. Any form of Blanco Nino into Google will find me at some point.
So Blanco is BLANCO and then Nino. Isn't that it?
Exactly, yeah.
Simple as that. I can read the tortilla box over there. So
Yeah.
concentrating. So, but yeah, so bottom line is, if you're interested in Philip's story and you want to chat with them, and there may be an investment opportunity there, give them a shout. Simple as that.
Right.
Wish you all of the luck on the Sunday. You said it's the 6th, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll have to stick that in my diary. I'll definitely be there. I think it's the 6th in Google HQ. See whether you can go one better this year after your amazing accolade next year. So
yeah, well, it's good to be here at the very least. So.
Brilliant stuff. So hashtag Team Kilkenny, Philip of Blanco Nino.
Even Team Tip there now.
Team Tip.
What
did I say? What did I say?
Kilkenny.
Good grief.
Sure. Definitely wearing the jersey now, Greg. Right? I'll see you. Good luck.
There you go. It's the Leinster boy in me, Oh, we got more clapping. God, we've really warmed up. We've really warmed up with the clapping.